In 1967, Ruth Buzzy made an appearance on Laugh-In in what seemed like just another comedy sketch. However, shortly afterward, she made a statement that would ultimately ruin her career. Sponsors pulled their funding, the FBI began monitoring her, and the show's...
For many years, Last Man Standing was a Friday night tradition that brought families together. The show had everything viewers loved: laughs, memorable characters, and stories that felt like home. But then things started to change. One by one, the main cast members began leaving the show. The new actors who replaced them just didn't feel the same, and fans were left wondering what had happened to their favorite characters. Was it because of creative differences, career changes, or something more complicated? The real story behind these departures is more surprising than most people would expect. Tim Allen had been away from television for years when he returned in 2011 with Last Man Standing. It wasn't an easy choice for him to make. He had already turned down some very big offers, including one from CBS that would have paid him $1 million for each episode. But Last Man Standing was different from other shows. The show's creator, Jack Burdett, had imagined Mike Baxter as a new kind of character, someone who would be like an older and wiser version of Tim the Toolman Taylor from Home Improvement. At first, Allen didn't want to take the role. He thought it was too much like his old character from Home Improvement. He actually said no 3 times before finally agreeing to do the show. What changed his mind was a deal that gave him much more control over the show. Along with being the star, he would also be an executive producer and have a say in how the show was made. This freedom would later become very important as the show started dealing with political topics. ABC had big plans for Last Man Standing. They wanted it to feel like a modern version of the classic show All in the Family. Their idea was to have a conservative main character whose views would be challenged by his family members. They decided to put the show on Friday nights, which is usually a 2GH time slot for TV shows. They hoped that Tim Allen's popularity would bring in viewers, and their plan worked perfectly. When the show first aired in October 2011, 13.2 million people watched it, making it ABC's biggest comedy debut since 2004. Even during its first season, it dominated its time slot and was especially popular with viewers between 18 and 49 years old. This was a big achievement for a Friday night show, since that time slot is usually hard for shows to succeed in. Over 6 seasons, the show kept strong ratings and averaged more than 8 million viewers per episode. That's why so many people were shocked when ABC decided to cancel it in 2017. Even more shocking was how the main cast members started leaving the show over time. In the first season, Alexandra Krosny played Kristen Baxter, who was Mike Baxter's eldest daughter. Kristen was a young single mother who had her son Boyd when she was just 17 years old. She worked as a waitress and lived with her parents while trying to balance her complicated life. Viewers really loved how Krosny made Kristen feel like a real person. She had a good mix of attitude and heart, which made her both funny and easy to relate to. Her quick and witty conversations with Tim Allen's character were one of the highlights of the show, and she brought a lot of emotion to Kristen's struggles as a young mom. But after the first season ended, something unexpected happened. ABC announced that Krosny wouldn't be coming back for the next season. They said it was because of creative differences, but the real reasons were much more complicated than that. The show's producers had decided to change Kristen's story completely. Instead of focusing on her being a young mom trying to figure things out, they wanted her to seem older and more experienced. They thought this change would make the show feel fresh and create new ways for her actor to challenge Mike Baxter on political and social issues. To make this big change happen, they decided to recast Kristen with a completely new actress named Amanda Fuller. Another reason for the change had to do with how the sisters on the show looked compared to each other. Even though Kristen was supposed to be the oldest sister, Alexandra Krosny was actually younger in real life than Molly Ephraim, who played Mandy, the middle sister. The producers felt this age difference made things seem a little confusing for viewers. Amanda Fuller, who was older than both Krosny and Ephraim, seemed like a better choice to play the eldest sibling and make the family dynamics more believable. Around the same time, in December 2011, Nick Jonas made a surprise appearance on Last Man Standing. He played Ryan Vogelson, who was Kristen's ex-boyfriend and the father of her baby. Jonas was only 19 years old at the time, and his casting was meant to grab attention and boost the show's ratings during a Christmas episode. In this episode, Ryan suddenly comes back to town after disappearing for a long time. He was shown as a nervous and immature teenager who had run away from his responsibilities. The show described him as someone who wasn't very smart and had gotten Kristen pregnant. Jonas's version of Ryan was pretty simple and not very well developed, but his appearance definitely caused quite a buzz among viewers who were excited to see him on the show. Things changed significantly when Tim Doyle became the showrunner in Season 2. He wanted Ryan to be much more than just a deadbeat dad who had abandoned his responsibilities. Doyle decided to turn Ryan into a smarter and more complex character who could challenge Mike Baxter's strong conservative views in interesting ways. The plan was to make Ryan a regular character with deeper connections to the Baxter family, but even Doyle couldn't keep the character the same. In 2012, Jordan Masterson took over the role of Ryan. Masterson, who was known for his role on the show Greek, brought a completely new version of the character to life. His Ryan was much smarter, more mature, and politically outspoken than the previous version. He wasn't just a scared teenager anymore. He was now someone who could have real arguments with Mike about big ideas like politics and values. This change gave Ryan a lot more depth and made him an important part of the show's dynamics. Over time, Ryan's character continued to grow and develop even more. He went from being a struggling young dad to running his own successful cannabis business called Best Buds in later seasons. The show had fun with Ryan's business success, showing how he unknowingly started acting like a capitalist businessman, which Mike found absolutely hilarious given their political differences. In May 2017, fans of Last Man Standing were completely shocked when ABC announced they were canceling the show. This wasn't just any ordinary show. It was one of ABC's biggest hits, with more than 8 million viewers and very strong ratings. Most people expected it to return for another season, especially since it was doing so well on Friday nights compared to other shows. But instead, the cancellation announcement came completely out of nowhere and caught everyone by surprise. The timing of the cancellation made it even more surprising and controversial. Just 2 months earlier, Tim Allen, the show's star, had caused quite a stir during an appearance on Jimmy Kimmel Live. He had joked that being a conservative in Hollywood felt like living in 1930s Germany, which upset many people. This comment made many fans and observers wonder if his political statement had anything to do with the network's decision to cancel the show. ABC's president, Channing Dungey, said the cancellation wasn't about politics at all. She claimed that the network simply wanted to stop airing comedies on Friday nights and focus on fantasy and science fiction shows instead. But for fans and even the cast members, it felt like a real slap in the face, especially given how successful the show had been. The cast members didn't try to hide their emotions about the cancellation. Tim Allen went on Twitter and said he felt stunned and blindsided by the network's decision. Nancy Travis, who played his TV wife Vanessa, shared her heartbreak with fans and thanked them for sticking by the show through all the years. Hector Elizondo, who played Ed, hinted in an interview that politics might have actually played a role in the decision, despite what the network was saying publicly. While the older cast members were shocked and upset by the cancellation, some of the younger actors like Molly Ephraim and Caitlin Dever started moving on with their careers. They didn't expect the show to come back and began looking for new opportunities in other projects. However, fans weren't ready to say goodbye to their favorite show. They started one of the biggest Save the Show campaigns that had ever been seen on television. Within just one day, a petition to bring the show back got more than 400,000 signatures from devoted fans. Fans also took to Twitter, flooding the platform with millions of tweets using the hashtag #SaveLastManStanding. Some fans even sent toy tools to ABC's offices, referencing Tim Allen's handyman character from the show. Others paid for billboards in big cities like Los Angeles and New York, demanding that the network bring their favorite show back to television. Even politicians got involved in the campaign. Wisconsin Governor Scott Walker suggested that the cancellation might have been politically motivated, adding fuel to the controversy surrounding the show's unexpected end. Behind the scenes, the reasons for the cancellation were actually a little more complicated than what appeared on the surface. ABC had to pay $3 million for each episode because the show was produced by 20th Century Fox rather than ABC's own production company. On top of that, Tim Allen's salary of more than $200,000 per episode added significantly to the overall costs of making the show. After the cancellation, Fox executives started shopping the show around to other networks, including CMT and NBC, to see if anyone else would be interested in picking it up. In the end, Fox itself decided to pick up the show. On May 11, 2018, exactly 1 year after the cancellation, Fox announced they were bringing Last Man Standing back to television. This decision wasn't just because of the passionate fans, although their campaign certainly helped. Fox had noticed how well ABC had done with the Roseanne revival, which had brought in millions of viewers and generated lots of excitement. Seeing a chance for their own success with a proven show, Fox decided to take the risk and spent $50 million to make the revival happen. A few days before the official announcement, Tim Allen dropped a hint on Twitter, telling fans to keep it up, which showed that the deal was already being worked out behind the scenes. Getting the show back on the air wasn't easy at all. The timeline was very tight. Fox announced the revival in May 2018, and the premiere was scheduled for September of the same year. This gave the production team just a few months to write scripts, film episodes, and prepare everything for broadcast. The writers started working on new scripts in June, with only 15 weeks to get them ready for filming. Filming began in August at the same studio where they had filmed before, but the original set had been completely taken apart, so they had to rebuild everything from scratch. To meet the tight deadlines, they had to film 3 episodes every single week, which was much faster than normal television production. Later, the COVID-19 pandemic caused production to pause, adding even more challenges to an already difficult situation. Fox spent significantly more money on the revival to keep the show at its best quality. Each episode now cost $1.1 million, which was up from $800,000 before the cancellation. Tim Allen's pay also went up. He now earned $235,000 per episode, making him one of the highest-paid actors on television. To help cover these increased costs, Fox sold streaming rights to Hulu and CMT for $1.5 million per episode. The production team also found various ways to save money, like filming more efficiently and cutting back on expensive travel for location shoots. All this effort paid off when the show returned. The first season on Fox brought in 8 million viewers, with the premiere alone getting very strong ratings. Fans clearly showed they were still excited to have the Baxter family back on their television screens. But the challenges weren't over yet. One of the main problems was casting new actors to replace some of the original cast members who had moved on to other projects during the year the show was canceled. When ABC canceled Last Man Standing in 2017, Molly Ephraim, who had played Mandy Baxter for 6 seasons, thought the show was finished forever. She didn't wait around hoping for a revival. She signed up for new jobs right away and moved on with her career. By the time Fox brought the show back a year later, Molly was already busy with other commitments. She had taken roles in different projects like Brockmire with Hank Azaria and Halt and Catch Fire. Because of these commitments, she couldn't leave her other jobs to come back as Mandy. When it came to replacing Molly as Mandy, the producers of Last Man Standing made an interesting decision. They didn't want to find someone who looked exactly like Ephraim. Instead, they wanted someone who could bring something completely new to the role. After searching for the right fit, they chose Molly McCook. She didn't look like Ephraim at all, but the production team decided to embrace these differences. They even made jokes about the change on the show instead of trying to hide it or pretend it hadn't happened. When McCook first appeared as the new Mandy in Season 7, many fans were initially upset. They started using the hashtag #NotMyMandy on social media to complain about the change. But McCook didn't let the negative reaction stop her from doing her best work. Instead of trying to copy Ephraim's version of the character, she made Mandy completely her own. She focused on the character's love for fashion and her dream of becoming a successful designer. The writers also gave McCook more serious storylines to work with, like Mandy's struggle with pregnancy and her developing relationship with Kyle. Over time, fans began to warm up to her performance, especially after her emotional scenes with Tim Allen, who played Mandy's father, Mike. By the end of her time on the show, McCook had proven that she could bring something special and unique to the character. But Molly Ephraim wasn't the only cast member who had moved on during the show's cancellation. Caitlin Dever had the same kind of situation. After the first cancellation of the show, she made a bold decision to shift her focus toward films instead of television. This decision led to her breakout role in Kathryn Bigelow's critically acclaimed movie, Detroit, which became a real turning point in her career. From there, Dever's success snowballed quickly. Within just 18 months, she had landed major roles in Booksmart in 2019, where she starred alongside Beanie Feldstein, and the Netflix miniseries Unbelievable. These projects catapulted her into the spotlight and made her one of the most sought-after young actresses in Hollywood. Her role in Unbelievable was especially significant, earning her both Golden Globe and BAFTA nominations. Meanwhile, Booksmart became a critical hit with glowing reviews and earned $25 million at the box office. Her decision to pursue new opportunities had turned out to be the best gamble she could have taken for her career. When Fox revived Last Man Standing, things became much more complicated for Dever. She was no longer able to commit as a full-time cast member because of her busy film schedule. She transitioned from being a series regular to a recurring guest star, appearing in 7 episodes of Season 7. However, by Season 8, her appearances dropped to just 2 episodes because she was so busy with other projects. The COVID-19 pandemic made things even harder for everyone involved. The strict quarantine rules required 14 days of isolation for each appearance, which made scheduling incredibly difficult. The show's production team had to constantly adjust their schedules around Dever's availability, sometimes writing entire episodes that could be filmed during her brief windows between other projects. By the final season, she appeared in only 3 episodes, including the series finale. Dever's reduced role meant that the show's storylines had to change significantly. The writers explained her character Eve Baxter's absence by sending her to the Air Force Academy, which was actually a creative way to handle the situation. This decision allowed her sporadic returns to carry more emotional impact and helped deepen her character's story arc. The show also made clever use of video calls to keep Eve connected to the Baxter family, even when Dever couldn't physically be on set. One standout episode called The Two Nieces of Eve was crafted specifically to fit around her limited availability. It focused entirely on Eve's relationship with her nieces, tying up several long-running storylines and giving fans a heartfelt moment with her character. Despite her busy schedule, Dever managed to juggle multiple high-profile projects between 2017 and 2021. She starred in Dopesick, and alongside Michael Keaton, took on a role in Dear Evan Hansen, and recently landed the part of Abby in HBO's The Last of Us Season 2. Her commitments were so demanding that Last Man Standing had to abandon plans for 2 additional episodes featuring her character in Season 8 due to scheduling conflicts. Still, Dever remained loyal to the show that had helped launch her career, and she made sure to appear in the series finale to give her character a proper goodbye. In May 2020, Fox announced that Last Man Standing would end with its 9th season, even though it was still very popular with audiences. The show was averaging 8.3 million viewers per episode, making it Fox's 2nd highest-rated comedy at the time. Fans were surprised by this decision because the show had such strong ratings and such loyal viewers. Producer Kevin Abbott shared that they had actually already started planning for a 10th season before the cancellation was announced. One big idea they had been developing was to have Amanda Fuller's character Kristen take over Outdoor Man and rename it Outdoor Woman. This change would have focused on how the family business evolved over time and explored themes of generational change. The writers also wanted to bring back fan-favorite guest stars like Jonathan Taylor Thomas and Richard Karn for storylines that would tie into their earlier appearances, which would have been very exciting for longtime fans of both Last Man Standing and Home Improvement. As the final season approached, Abbott revealed that Fox executives wanted to create a big event to make the ending special. At first, Abbott wasn't really interested in this idea. He felt that the show worked best when it focused on small, family-centered stories rather than big spectacles. But then writer John Amadeo came up with an idea that got everyone excited, bringing back Tim the Toolman Tay, lore from Home Improvement, for a crossover episode. This idea sparked lots of discussions about how the 2 shows could be connected.